And so the food scene needed somebody to talk about. And here I was the anti-chef. I was some guy with no restaurant experience, and I'm selling freaking sandwiches. But we were number one on Yelp out of all restaurants in San Francisco, a very famous food city.
We are live here in Pancom Podcast Studios with your show host, Mike Beltran, and the furry ball tickler man himself, Nicolas Jiménez.
I just want to know that that's not what live means, or not
I know,
live
but
at all.
let me just have my fucking moment, man.
We can Instagram it live right now.
Oh, man. Instagram
there you go.
Live. We haven't done that since the pandemic, right?
I'm not into it. I mean,
No, people are into
can.
it, though. People were into it. They were chiming in, saying all kinds of ridiculous things.
They'll come up with some amazing questions, I'm sure.
Nah, I don't know if you know our audience. Guys,
Well,
I love
my
you.
audience, at
Yeah,
least.
that's good.
My
That's
audience
good.
actually likes me.
We're trying to introduce your audience into mine. That's what it is.
We're trying to get your audience of people who like you to get sucked into the audience of people who hate Mike.
Dude, I was talking to my buddy who plays in the NBA about haters, and the thing is, with haters is you have to have them. If you have zero haters, you suck.
Well, I think if everyone agrees with you, then you're really just kind of going along with the tide instead of trying to go up against something and stand for something. That's always been my thought process. Nick, tell everyone why we're here.
Hold on,
Actually, can I do it live or is
Sure,
that,
of course you can.
Oh man, there's all kinds of stuff
So
going
many
on
things
here.
happening here.
I mean,
So much. This is the shit show has begun.
yeah.
Super into it.
Here on Pancom Podcast Intermission.
There's no time for intermissions. This is Pancom Podcast. I'm Nick Jiménez, and I am joined, as usual, by 2021 Star Chefs, Rising Star Chef, and I have it on good authority, the Bruce Springsteen
Oh, man.
of food. Is that what it was? Of food?
Of Miami Dining.
Of Miami Dining.
That's what Norman said. I'll take it.
Norman Van Aken.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing about that to me, if somebody called me the Bruce Springsteen of anything, I'd be like, what does that mean?
That means that you're awesome.
I guess.
Yeah. That you're awesome, that you're great, and that you dance in the dark.
That's what it is. You dance in the dark. We'll change the name of the podcast to Dance in the
Dance
Dark
in the
with
Dark.
Michael Beltran.
Oh, no. We would definitely get a cease and desist for that
Oh
one.
man,
Definitely.
yeah, that's what we're all about here.
Yeah, that's true.
We are joined also by this episode's special guest, Ike Shehadeh. Did I say that right, by the way?
yeah.
You nailed it.
I'm really good at this.
You're that's for the first try. Hell yeah! And you didn't even ask.
Can I do it better?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
No, because I thought you were saying for the
should've told
first
him yes.
try.
But anyways.
No, I
Anyway.
mean normally people say it and then they say it wrong and then they.
What do they usually go
ask
to
me.
first?
Yeah.
Like, how do they fuck it up?
Shehadeh or
Shehadeh.
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to, and I'm sure that you get a little bit of this in California, but the Cubans saying Shehadeh. If you're going to be here often, you're in for a whole new world.
Chada.
Ah.
Chada.
Charito.
Oh, man.
I'll take it.
Yeah, the Cubans, as long as they're eating the sandwiches.
There you go.
You know,
Right.
that's usually how I'm. If you're butchering my last name, but you're still eating all my food, that's totally okay with me.
That is a good segue into an explanation of who Ike Shehadeh is. Ike Shehadeh is the founder of Ike's Love and Sandwiches. So the Cubans won't just be coming for your sandwiches; they'll be coming for your love.
Oh, man.
Oh, the love, yes.
So if you're not familiar with that name, it might be because you mentioned that, what is it, about 2/3 to 3/4 of your 80 some odd stores are in California.
Yes.
So if you're outside of California, you might not have heard of this, but seems like you're about to start hearing about it a little more in COVID, right? You guys opened a new franchise-owned store in Aventura, so the Aventura area of Miami, and presumably more to come. I know we were just talking a little bit about the expansion. I'll leave further discussion of that to Mike. And finally, I will note that, because I forgot to give them a little shout out the last time. Thanks. Very brief. They're not a sponsor, but we got hooked up with some cigars by Aganorsa Leaf.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're smoking Guardian of the Farm. Thanks to Aganorsa.
Wow.
That's all you get. Don't
What
talk
a-
about them anymore. They got to pay for more.
What a
than that.
name.
Guardian
of the
Guardian
Farm.
of the Farm is a reference, and you see it on the band, to the bulldog on the farm. I've met the Guardian of the Farm.
I just love. I mean,
That-
it's
that
such an
dog
intense
is-
name. Like, I want to meet this dog.
That dog is guarding
I
nothing.
I feel.
I've met this dog.
I feel like I feel like this could be like a mini series or a comic book. Guardian of the Farm.
That
Like
dog-
maybe like a late night.
If that dog was hanging out with Petey, that
Cartoon.
dog would be like, "You're moving too fast, bro."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pete, where?
I didn't bring him today.
I'm out of here.
I know. The Petey, my dog, is usually around, but this time he got left out.
Got to snuggle.
Ike, what's up, man?
What's up? That's
What an intro by Nick. He always does all the things right, and I just now I enter into fuck it all up. But
well, he forgot to say Steve Jobs' sandwiches. But
I know
I'll let
I
it
was
slide.
referred to as the Bruce Springsteen of Miami dining, which I swear I'm going to put on my tombstone whenever that day happens. And someone referred to you once as the Steve Jobs of sandwiches.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So it's basically the boss and
Yeah.
the Jobs.
Yeah, I love that. Can you I want to understand how someone who has 82 stores of anything is just sitting in front of me just very relaxed. You look so relaxed. Are you relaxed?
I have almost zero cares in the world. I'm just
Wow.
chilling. Yeah.
Wow, man.
It's called delegation.
Yeah, no, I do a lot of delegating, but maybe I need to work on more. Tell me how this all started. Tell me where you're from, the whole thing, how you got into sandwiches to begin with, and the first store.
Well, so let's see. I started 2007 Halloween in San Francisco. Basically because I wanted to do something that I love to do. So I made a list, my list was snuggling animals,
Okay.
going on dates, eating,
Nice.
feeding people, hanging out with friends. I wrote out about 38 things on this list. And putting the list together, I realized, well, I should probably open up a restaurant. And that's kind of how it started. Now, as you know, you've got a bunch of restaurants. It's not that easy.
Right.
Though, for me, ignorance was bliss.
Yeah.
So I just made another list. Like, what do I think I need to do to open up a sandwich place? Googled everything and then opened up, like, less than a year later with $70K, a loan from my mom. And here I was, selling sandwiches and coffee and ice cream in the middle of San Francisco.
We're in San Francisco?
This was the Castro district, so 16th and Sanchez. Unfortunately, the first location's not there anymore.
Oh, that's
we got kicked out a bunch of times.
Oh, you did?
The first location was 400 square feet,
Oh,
and we
wow.
were doing about $3 million out of 400 square feet.
Shut the fuck
Exactly. So the city was like,
400
get
square
the hell out
feet?
of here.
up.
Yeah.
You're doing $3 million out of 400 square feet?
By year 2, we were doing over 1,000 people a day.
Whoa.
Let's
whoa.
just and not to, but I think because it's a very unique model, right? It's not as straightforward as what people may think of with like a Subway or a Quiznos or something. It's some absurdly long menu. Like there's all kinds of weird shit. I'd love to get into some of that to give people context for like what exactly this business is that's doing $3 million out of 400 square feet.
Yeah, so tell us more about the actual concept. When you developed the concept in your brain, that first time that you wrote things down, what were some of the thoughts that you had that went into the first store and the first menu?
So the first menu, the ideas I had, well, first of all, because I never had a restaurant before, and I hadn't at the time worked at a restaurant in my life, I didn't know that coming up with this vast menu was what not to do.
Problematic.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So for me, it was, okay, what do I love to eat? And I started making, in a sandwich form, I just started making a list. This is a good combo, and this is a good combo. And initially, I wrote out a menu of 25 sandwiches, and then 10 vegetarian sandwiches, because gotta love the veggies. And then I was like, okay, vegans, yeah, they need some love too. So I had two vegan items. Then I made a breakfast menu, because I wanted to be open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., added the coffee, ice cream, milkshakes, created these crazy flavored drinks, salads, and my menu started with over 50 items. Like, imagine never opening up a restaurant, and then first day, it was, here's these 50 items. Now looking back upon it, I mean, people would be like, why would you open up a restaurant with 50 menu items? And I didn't know. I just knew that these items were going to taste good, and so I just put them on my menu. And that was basically the whole entire thought process. Is I love teriyaki and wasabi, so I'm gonna make a sandwich with that, chicken and cheese, and then we gotta have a basic BLT. We have to do a pastrami sandwich, etc. And just went down the line what do I need to have? I had burgers, and I was like, well, what if you don't eat meat? I got a salmon burger. Okay, what if you're vegan? I got a garden burger. All these things. And it turned out to be, like, the weakness became the strength. Because then all of a sudden people started coming in and thinking, you put honey on a sandwich? All right. You can make a sandwich that tastes like a chicken Caesar salad, but put it in a sandwich and then toast it on garlic bread? Yeah, I'm in for that. And we started naming them cool names. Name the one with the artichoke hearts on it and Caesar dressing, the Backstabber. We had a sandwich called the Ex-Boyfriend. We had a sandwich called the Ex-Girlfriend. And the whole, like, whimsicalness and creativity in the menu, like, I mean, I'm looking at your stuff, like, that's pretty unique and interesting. But just imagine that as in the sandwich game, and people aren't doing that. There's the basic ass sandwich places almost anywhere you go.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not the same, but I understand, because, like, when we opened up Chugs as the pop-up the first time, all of our sandwiches were riffs on classics, but just my way. And it was, you know, for all the people that loved it, there was a lot of people that were like, no. And I was like, no. I mean, I wanted something that was different and interesting and cool. We definitely didn't have 50 items, and we were 600 square feet, and I thought that we had 34 items at our peak, and I thought that was, like, really pushing it.
Well, a great job there. I'm going to have to eat your sandwiches.
Yeah, well, we're closed right now. We're renovating, but it's going to be when when we open, you could definitely come and we'll have some of those bangers that were there before on the menu again. But, I mean, so then since you had never done it before, how was that unraveling at the beginning of opening a restaurant and then learning how to do it at the same time?
So the learning of it on the fly was probably the most useful thing, like, as I'm looking back upon it, because I didn't have something to compare it to and, like, what not to do. Immediately I went to, like, whenever there was a deficiency in sales, which was basically the first day. I didn't sell anything on the first day. Didn't even sell a bottle of water. And this is Halloween in San Francisco, and I didn't sell shit.
How's Halloween in San Francisco? I've never been there for that.
Well, in the neighborhood that we were in, that the first Ike's was in, and they would close down the streets, and, like, 100,000 people would show up to this block party, or several blocks party, obviously. Now, the year before, unfortunately, there was some violence there, so the police and the city wanted to deter gathering there, so they didn't even close up the streets, which also contributed to the fact that we didn't sell anything, is because they didn't want people to be there at night.
Right.
Though, like with most cities, like, it's a part of town where people like to go out to eat, and it was Halloween, so a night where people were going to go out. And to have zero sales, like, I pushed myself to make sure I was open on Halloween, specifically because I wanted eyeballs on the place.
Right.
And then when literally nobody came in, I was like, damn, I got to rethink my plan.
Sure.
And after a bout of, like, holy crap, I messed up, and what am I doing, and depression, or a shock, more so, I went back in the next day, which was a week later, because it was bullshit. I didn't sell anything on the first day, to me. And I was like, immediately, okay, I got to do something different. And so that thought of what can I do to attract more business, put more, like, what more value I can bring straight from the beginning, instead of going, okay, well, my marketing is off, or I just immediately went to, I need more sandwiches. I need better service. I need more creativity. I put on, like, the most fitting shirt I had and I was pretty swollen. I would just go out there, I'm like, hey, can I buy you lunch? And just, like, flirted with every single person that walked by. Like, I don't care what you were into or not into. I just look you in your eyes and, like, let me buy you lunch, baby. And every single person that walked by, and 9 people let me make them a sandwich the second day.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I've learned is that staying the course, and not, like, getting it just because it doesn't maybe work the first day, and nobody shows up the first day doesn't mean that they're not going to show up the second day or the third day. And then when they show up the second or third day, if you're good that second or third day, they'll show up on the 5th day or the 6th day, especially, like, something like sandwiches, which is something that people can have every single day.
Yeah.
At least I can. People usually like, is this wrong? Is the menu wrong? And sometimes, it is wrong. Sometimes it's not good. But if it is good and you believe in it, the longer you stay the course, I think the better chance you have of being, successful. Even after, like, a first year, you reassess and, like, maybe some things you take off and you add a couple things, but the core of whatever you do should stay the same, And in the restaurant world, I feel like people usually backtrack too quickly, so I think that that's cool. So what was that first, when did you go from, $3 million is a lot. What was it like the first year compared to the second year?
So about 365 in. So we opened the end of 2007. So we'll call 2008 from 2007 to 2008. Because I think our 2007 sales were less than 10 grand or something like that. It was ridiculous. Ridiculously low. Then all of a sudden, this the whole like social media age began, or people wanted to write the reviews. Yelp started. I didn't know what Yelp was when I opened. I know kind of they're like not as important now, but still people use it. And so back then, it's I equate it to. So we're in the Bay Area. All this tech is happening.
Right.
We were in the middle of that in the beginning, and all these forums, whether it was Twitter, like we've been on Twitter for like 15 years, stuff like that, is that they need something to talk about. Like the NBA is better when they have people like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry. They're better when they have those people to talk about. Otherwise, why would you talk about the NFL if they don't have, Tom Brady out there? And so the food scene needed somebody to talk about. And here I was the anti-chef. I was some guy who had no restaurant experience, and I'm selling freaking sandwiches. But we were number one on Yelp out of all restaurants in San Francisco, a very famous food city. And I have there's a name after me, so it was easily accessible to people. Plus the price point, we were less than $10 back then. Everybody could eat there. It wasn't like a place like whatever Michelin star restaurants out there that you need to book out ahead of time, and all you had to do is stand in line and wait for an hour, and you can get a sandwich at my place with $10. So people were able to leave reviews and tell people, hey, you should come and eat at Ike's. Hey, you should come and eat at Ike's, etc. So we were able we were doubling our sales every 3 months, like starting January 2001, that we didn't even have a time to adjust. It was like, holy shit, we just served 100 people today, and our previous high was like 30. And then we're like, oh my God, now we're serving 400 people a day, and now we're serving 1,000 people a day. And no matter what we did, no matter how far we like got better at it, like now we're better, and now we're serving more people. No matter what happened, whatever we did, however many people I brought in more ovens and more everything, just the wait was always 2 hours long. And then an hour after you ordered. It was 2.5 years of not a rest, I guess is how to put it. So I didn't, just learning on the fly there, like learning how to be faster, but while being faster and testing things out on people.
Well, in those first, you said 2 to 3 years, it was in the same location?
Yeah, the first
400 square feet.
The first 400 square feet, we were there for a little bit less than 3 years before we got kicked out, and then we moved across the street. But due to permitting issues, we had a 9-month stint where we didn't have a location, and we just had our other ones, which were on campus at Stanford University. We were on campus there. That was our technically our second location. And then we had one all the way in Oracle by Electronic Arts in Oracle in the peninsula of the Bay Area. And we had those two. And then those ones, even though it was like, say, not a smaller city, it's not San Francisco, we had waits of over an hour there, where people are driving from San Francisco there now because we were not in San Francisco.
Are those still there, those two?
But none of the top 3 locations are not there.
Oh, yeah?
Our Stanford one just closed because of the building's not open due to COVID.
Oh, really?
And we don't know when that one's going to reopen, but it's on campus. The landlord is the school.
Right.
So luckily it's not.
It'll be a school thing.
It'll be a school thing whenever they reopen.
Goes...
And if they open the building, like who knows, right? And then, but the other one at Oracle, we also get kicked out because that one was 450 square feet. And even though the landlord, when we signed up, knew that we were popular and we would have hour waits, the rest of the building didn't appreciate having a couple hundred people show up that weren't the tenants of the building.
You want anything to drink?
I'll have more like sparkling water.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Can I get a bottle of Pellegrino when you get a chance? Thank you so much. Nick, you want something?
No.
You sure? Okay.
Hey, y'all.
So is the model for you in that small 500 square foot thing? Like that's what you look for? Is that what you built the model to be like? Just small, like smaller locations? Are you looking for, or do you have locations that are bigger, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 square feet?
Oh, well, our San Francisco store, the one that we moved to, ended up being almost 3,000 square feet.
Oh, so big.
So the thing is because what we're doing, we're more concerned with location than size of the space. Now,
Right.
obviously, I don't want to pay 3,000 rent on 3,000 square feet if we don't know we're not going to use the 3,000 square feet.
Right.
So we're basically like, how much rent do we want to pay? And if a landlord's willing to meet that rent, we don't care what the size of the space is. Ideally, we'd be way more than 400 square feet. That's just where the first location was, and that's just where the second location happened to be.
Sure.
And then Stanford, that location was about 800 square feet. Ideally, we'd be at 1,100 to 1,300 there, just so we can have some spots, some space for high volume.
Right.
Though, I mean, now where people are kind of, for our genre, don't necessarily need to eat it in, and then all the rules and stuff in
Right.
California, we've been fine because we've had a lower occupancy already.
Right.
Yeah.
You were kind of, I wouldn't say you were built for this. Thanks, Kat. You're not like built for this, but the model worked very well for this time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, when all the COVID things started happening, Chugs was a grab and go kind of thing, so it actually did better than everything else, and it closed in the middle of the quarantine time to start renovations, but I mean, it did well, considering.
Yeah.
Only because it was built for that, like the food was built for that, the whole concept was built for that. So if you wanted food to go, like it was easy because we were already doing that. So how did you get to 82 stores? Like tell me when did things start going like to snowball to like so many locations?
So initially, in the first 3 years of Ike's, we had 3 stores, essentially one a year. And that kind of also came from, like, I didn't know that you shouldn't open up 3 restaurants in 3 years. For us, it was, and for people that are out there that are listening to this, if you're in any kind of business, but especially the restaurant business, and you know this too, it's kind of, while there's some different hiccups here and there, to open up 2 restaurants is the same as opening the first one, more or less. To open up the third one, the same. So here we are, store number 82 or 83. We're building one in LA right now. And it's the same as opening the very first store way back in 2007. It's all just a reframing of my mind. Like, to get to 1,000 locations or 5,000 locations, I imagine, is the same as just doing what I did, just 4,010 more times or whatever.
Right.
And that is a blessing as much of it as it is anything. Because all you need is time. Like, I know you could open up 100 restaurants for sure because you opened up 1 and then 5 and then whatever, 10, right? I know that you can do that. Now, do you know that you can do that? You know it. So then just go and do it. And I just kind of, I delegated everything out, all the stuff that I hate to do, which is planning, departments, and build-outs. And let me just focus on the menu, which is what I love to do, and feed people. And from there, it's like the team, we're on auto control. We're on cruise control. We'll get to 1,000 locations. We'll get to 5,000 locations.
Is that the goal for you?
5,001 locations, yeah. We'll be that'll put us at like the second largest sandwich shop in the world, and I'm good with that.
What's first, Subway?
Subway's like 40-something thousand.
Is it 40-something thousand? They have
yeah,
40-something
and
thousand?
I think this is the largest restaurant in the world, or the number of locations. And so for me,
40,000.
looking at them, they're basically just selling. I'm not talking shit, but they're basically just selling locations to sell locations. For us to get the 40-something thousand locations, unless it's 100 per country or something, like, it doesn't kind of make sense from an economic standpoint for us to be cannibalizing each other like that. So 5,001 is good enough for me, and probably when I get there, I'm going to say, no, we want 10,001.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything is a benchmark, right?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite sandwich on the menu? I'm
Ike's?
sure. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
people ask you that shit all the time.
Yeah. So the one I eat the most is this spicy barbecue sandwich designed with Madison Bumgarner back in like 2010. It's habanero and like a North Carolina style barbecue, because that's where he's from, and a steak sandwich. So you can imagine a barbecue type cheesesteak, North Carolina style, but spicy and cheesy. I love that sandwich. I eat it the most. But probably my official favorite is the Reuben. We don't call it a Reuben because people get offended.
Right.
We call it the Paul Rubens because it's totally a West Coast style sandwich. It's saucy as hell. We're condiment and bread focused on that instead of the stack of meat like you would get at whatever New York deli.
What kind of bread?
Our famous bread is the Dutch. We've been working on that recipe for 8, 9, 10 years or so. And so we don't do it on rye. We used to sell rye, but folks didn't want that compared to our breads. And the reason why that's my official favorite is I freaking hate Rubens. Like, if I go to your world-famous New York place and you try to sell me a Reuben, I'm going to say absolutely not. I'll take, like, a different sandwich. But the first time I ever ate and designed the Paul Rubens, I was like, damn, I actually made a Reuben that I like. And like I said, I straight up hate Reubens. And so that's why it's officially my favorite sandwich. Is if I can turn a sandwich that I hate into one that I love, that's the one. So those are my two favorite.
Do all of the locations have the same menu?
More or less. We have a secret menu, so we got 800 plus sandwiches.
How many?
800, over 800 choices. Yeah,
800.
Yeah, close to 400 veggie, 400 or 500 meat, and we can swap them out. Like, we can make a meat one into a veggie one by swapping out the meat.
So this is 800 before accounting for like variations of I want on this bread or that bread. Correct.
This is like, I want a hot date for hire, or I want a.
That's one of them.
Oh yeah. That was my first internet business back in the day. We can talk about that later.
I think we will.
But you're talking about the menu is similar. So like say we'll take the menu out here in Aventura. So we got a Cuban sandwich on the menu, or my take on a Cuban sandwich. Which, while you can order that at every Ike's, we don't necessarily feature it on, say, a menu in San Francisco or a menu in Vegas. We've got like a sandwich named after Pitbull. Like, while you can get that maybe at another location, we wouldn't necessarily feature that one there.
Right.
Like in, say, Bay Area, we have the Steph Curry sandwich on the menu that we feature, or a bunch of San Francisco Giants players. Marshawn Lynch's sandwiches is featured prominently, say, in
What's
the Bay Area.
What's in the Marshawn Lynch sandwich? Because I love Marshawn Lynch.
So Marshawn's one of our partners. We own a few locations in
He's the
Vegas
best.
with him.
Man, that guy is one of my favorite pro athletes of all time.
He's definitely that, and he's got a great mind. He's got a huge heart too.
I mean,
I think a lot of people don't know that about him.
No, I mean, he's one of the coolest, most down to earth, and I've never met him. This is just from, like, we had on our podcast that we did, I don't know, 2 months ago or whatever. One of our guests, he paints athletes' shoes, like cleats. That's like his whole business, and his stories about Marshawn are amazing. And then all the stories I hear through, like, because I played college football and all the football players that I know and whatever about him are incredible. He's just such a good dude, like such a good person.
If you're looking to paint some sandwiches on your shoes, Ike, it's
Soles by Sir. At Soles by Sir.
All right. I'll get a sandwich shoe or something.
I mean, yeah, he'll do that. He'll do your Air Force Ones with sandwiches on them.
I've actually had someone, they did some Vans, and they hand drew the Ike's logo on it, painted it, and then presented it to me as a gift once. So
that's what Marcus does.
I do enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah.
You were asking about Marshawn's sandwich. So the only thing I don't like about Marshawn is he doesn't like mayonnaise. That's the only thing I don't like about him. Other than that,
that's probably the only thing I don't like about him either.
Yeah, it's like, come on, you can't get a sandwich and say no mayo. Like, he will get upset if I put mayo on a sandwich. And spoiler alert, Marshawn, I put mayo on every single sandwich I've ever made you. 100% of the time, I put mayo on it. I just, rubbed it in really, really, really great.
Yeah.
But his sandwich is a bacon, spicy barbecue, like mustard thing. We call it Beast Mode Barbecue. He kind of designed a sauce with us. Fried chicken and cheese. No mayo, but I'm putting mayo on it.
Wow.
Skittles on the side?
Skittles on the side.
We were going to do some Skittles and stuff like that, but we give away a lollipop with each sandwich. We give away a caramel apple pop, and we figured the Skittles is a conflict of interest.
Yeah, it is.
Plus, they don't pay me, so I'm not going to give away Skittles.
But if you want to put an ad on this podcast, it's ads@dademag.com. Skittles, if you're out there, we'll take your ad money.
I will too. If you want to make an Ike flavor, we'll do it.
Yeah, I like that.
Some Skittle bread.
So let's go like all the way back. Where you're from, where you grew up, and then, I mean, how. I know I kind of got like an idea of how you got into the restaurant thing, and we'll dive into that more. But tell me about your whole upbringing. How'd that happen?
Well, I grew up in San Francisco, born and raised.
Okay.
I lived there until I went away to college in UC Davis, which is Northern California, about an hour up from San Francisco. And so I basically was a city kid, and that's why when I wanted to open up my restaurant, I was like, well, my dream would be San Francisco, though at that time the city was way too expensive for me to live in. I was commuting into Ike's, and I found a perfect location for me. So growing up, I was really into school, like getting good grades, and sports. In fact, that's what I spent most of my time. I wrestled. I was on the football team, tried for basketball, baseball, martial arts. Like I'm a 5th degree black belt in Kempo Karate.
Oh, man.
Studied Tai Chi since I was 12. Just really into sports. I tried out for the Olympics in a couple sports
Which
back in
sports?
1996. Went to the national championships, or got invited to the national championships for martial arts. And went to the national championships in Greco-Roman wrestling.
Oh man, wrestling is tough, man.
And spoiler alert, I don't make the Olympics in either one of those sports, either one of the U.S. teams. But I was really into that. Then when I went to college, because this is where I really got into food. I'd always been making sandwiches, though when I was away at college, what my family did provide for me, they made it very clear that I wasn't going to be able to afford to eat out every meal. And so, I mean, obviously I didn't expect that. But so I had a little stipend from the family, and I had to learn how to make that money stretch.
Yeah.
And so that's when I really started exploring and experimenting in the kitchen. And a lot, like my sandwich number 1 on the menu, number 6 on the menu, number 8 on the menu. A lot of these sandwiches, the idea came from when I was in college making food.
Man, I did that so many times too.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's not like none of them have really ended up on. Maybe some have ended up on menus, but yeah, I mean, I fucked with food a lot when I was in college, like a lot.
Oh yeah, and there was a lot of stuff that I made, and I literally threw it straight into the trash because I took a couple bites. I'm like, there's no salvaging this.
You know, for me, it wasn't as much like making the food in college, but it was like I moved to Virginia, so I mean, I've been a Miami kid my whole life, and then it was it's a completely different lifestyle.
Virginia.
Yeah, and food. I mean, the food was really something I had never experienced before, and I thought it was delicious. So, like, real American barbecue, Brunswick stew, biscuits, apple butter, the whole thing, like, shit I never had before, and I fucking love. But I really loved what I loved was the comforting aspect of their food, for sure. But yeah, I feel you. Like, you know, the college did mold a lot of my food likes and dislikes, too.
Yeah. Somebody here asked about a CBD sandwich. We're doing a CBD sandwich on 420.
A CBD sandwich?
A CBD sandwich out in the Arizona stores. California is a little tough on rules, just as a generalization, but for this one specifically. So I've been messing around and testing out CBD sandwiches for the last 2 months, specifically for 420. But because of the rules, we're going to only be able to do it for a temporary.
Yeah. How do you mess around with a CBD sandwich? Like, what are your things? Do you make butter? Do you make mayonnaise? Do you make, like, what are the things that you do?
So I'll make sauces. So take the oil or whatever and mix it with a flavor, and then I add it to a sandwich.
Sure.
So I've been messing around with the Chipotle version. Chipotle, I don't want to call it mayo because it's more like butter and CBD oil and things like that.
Right.
But adding that to a steak sandwich.
We'll call it a schmear.
And what else did we do? We did like a vinaigrette. So more like something that could be a salad dressing, but I put that on fried chicken, and it was just really crisp and refreshing, and went with the saltiness of the fried chicken, and then made the vegetarian versions as well.
You should make some CBD mojo and let me know how it comes out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because there's oil in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be, yeah.
Just give it a try. Let me know how it ends
I'm
up.
down. You've been
I'm
messing
willing
around
to
with
try it
CBD
out.
anywhere?
No, I don't. I mean, I have a lot of, like, my friends that are former cooks that, you know, they cook with CBD and THC and the whole thing, and it's like, my thing is, I'm not great with edibles, so, like, I don't fuck with them very much. You know, like, I'm scared I take a wrong turn and I'm going to be high for a very long time. So I usually just leave it up to the professionals and I just consume. I don't really fuck with them.
Make of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you could do it and you could do it well, people do buy it. You know?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be very difficult for a restaurant to do that as a thing, like as a permanent thing.
Some do, but some do it a lot more in cocktail form than they do in food form.
Because you're able to portion it right, when you're doing that, because you're just like, oh, we're going to put one shot so you can guarantee it. But if I'm smearing some sauce on there, then the way the law state is, I need to make sure that there's 5 grams or 10 grams or whatever I say. But unless we have like a squirt gun or something squirting the sauce on there, we can't do that.
Sandwiches on the board.
Yeah. And so if you're just adding a little bit of sauce the whole time, I mean, I think we would do a THC sandwich. I don't know when that would be actually legal. But we looked in the permits, and it's like $500,000 for all the locations. So to get a kind of permit like that. So no.
What were we just talking about?
CBD sandwiches.
CBD sandwiches.
Edibles and leaving them to the professionals.
Oh, yeah. Well,
800 sandwiches, man. No, there's no list.
I know.
Just bear in mind, eventually we want to transition to this hotdatefordhire.com.
Hotdateforhire.com.
I'm trying to get into the background of his story. So he was born in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, my first job when I was 15 was in the circus. I did.
Man, there's a lot happening.
Oh, yeah.
You are a loaded character,
I think from here on out, we're not talking about sandwiches that
I
much.
want to talk about this circus job.
There's Olympic tryouts and circuses.
My first job was working for Tropicana on my friend's uncle's route, unloading boxes. Your job sounds so much cooler when you were young.
Well, I was blessed with the fact that a lot of crazy-ass great publicity happened to me from such a young age. I was on a trampoline team. What's that? Well, in 1990,
a trampoline
team.
This is amazing.
They were making, so trampoline used to be an Olympic sport, but too many people don't know that. But too many people got injured, so they stopped it.
Trampoline?
Like doing trampoline jumping and doing backflips and forward flips.
I vaguely remember watching a little bit of it.
Yeah. So it used to be.
I'm not shocked that you watched this on YouTube at some point in your life.
Well, because when did they stop putting in the Olympics?
Yeah, before I was into it, but I remember that. So they were going to bring it back, but as a show sport or like an exhibition sport. Right. So I was on a team because one of the places that I hung out at, a previous Olympian that did trampoline was teaching a class, and so I was like, hey, they were so I started doing it because it just seemed really cool, jumping on trampoline, doing backflips. It's really cool when you're 10 and 12 and 15, and so I was like, there was only 2 dudes on the whole team, and now so imagine if there's not that many dudes, and they need to field an Olympic team, like I'm already like an automatic kind of. I was probably like the 3rd or 4th ranked person in trampoline as a male, and I was 15, and I wouldn't say I was great, but I was definitely cool. So we were on TV, a local news station, and the circus saw us on TV and goes, "Oh, we need to add some of this stuff to our routine." So they call up our coach, and he goes, "Yeah, you guys want a best guy?" And here's Ike, he's the best guy. So I ended up going out there and teaching and being a part of like acrobatics with an actual circus. But my main job that they gave me, apparently I was really good at standing on those stilts, you see those really tall people. Yeah. So for me, because I'm so short, I was like regular size human being, right. But I was really good. They were like about 3 feet long, and my main job was like walking in parades and like waving to people and doing like kicks and stuff with the stilts on, and they paid me like $15 an hour cash in 1994 or whatever. Like so I was stacking. Like stacking cash.
$15 an hour in 1994.
Oh yeah.
Rich.
At what age?
I was 15.
Yeah, $15 an hour, 15 years old in 1994.
And
way more than I was making with Tropicana.
They're not in business anymore, so I can say that they paid me cash, and I did not pay taxes on that.
You didn't hear it here first on Ponko Podcast. If you're a part of the IRS, please turn off the podcast.
Exactly.
You're not our clientele.
Yeah.
We don't want you in here.
Hey, first of all, I didn't know what taxes were, but yeah. That was like 30 years ago. I only made a couple $100, so I'll slide you your $50 or whatever I owe.
That was your first job when you were 15.
15, yeah. I did that for 15 years old and 16, 2 summers.
Oh, that's wild.
And then my first paycheck ended up being at Victoria's Secret.
What? Go on. Tell me more.
Did you also wear stilts at Victoria's Secret?
You know what? No.
No.
I haven't put on a pair of stilts since then.
Oh man, you should do that for the next restaurant opening. If you still got it, you got to see if you could still do that.
Hopefully, it's like a bike, and I won't.
I don't know, man. Those things actually look really fucking difficult to stand on.
I was
I would
really,
never
really
attempt
good.
that.
So
I feel like I'm too clumsy for that, so I would never do
We had
that.
a lot of
Nick, I would pay money to see you on one of those.
yeah, still, so I can
If we're
teach you.
prorating that $15, I don't think I make it to the first 5.
Okay, so when did you transition to Victoria's Secret from being on stilts?
So I did the stilts thing, and then I went to college, and I got kicked out of college my sophomore year.
Too. So many times. How many times did you get kicked out?
Just the one time. Like I got kicked out, and there wasn't really a reason to attempt again. Now I've taken classes for sure at colleges, but not with the intention to graduate. With more like I want to learn about accounting or I want to learn about creative writing. But the official time, just one time, I got kicked out, and immediately decided I wanted to go into business for myself. So it was part of a family business up until that was '98. So from '98 to 2004.
What was the family business?
It was a supermarket, liquor store in San Francisco.
Oh, cool.
And I did that from '98 to 2004.
Yeah, I worked at a Winn-Dixie, so
cool.
I know that life. I know that. I worked in the. I was a bagger first, then I worked. What did I do next? I was stock for the dog food aisle, and I know this is riveting stuff. And then
Dog food.
Yeah, the dog food aisle. And what did I do after that? Yeah, and then I got fired from Winn-Dixie, and then I went to go work at Norman Brothers.
How much
You got
dog
fired.
food did they have at this Winn-Dixie
A lot,
that there
man.
was like
Let
a
me tell you,
whole
stocking
thing?
those things, I felt it was rough, man. I mean, I was like fucking 14 years old at the time, 14 or 15 years old, and it was.
And now you're the Bruce Springsteen.
Now I'm the Bruce Springsteen of Miami Denny. Who would have thought? From the dog food aisle to here, what a journey, everyone!
Yeah.
What a journey.
You know what?
Ah, but that's why I got a job because I worked at that Winn-Dixie when I was a kid. I got a job at Norman Brothers later, which is like a small like. Family-owned kind of like fresh market here, and that's when I started working in a butcher shop, and I learned how to butcher a chicken when I was like 17 or 18 years old.
God bless Winn-Dixie for
Thank you,
kicking you out.
Winn-Dixie.
Yes.
Thank you, Edward, my manager out there, the one that was telling me to go 2 blocks away to pick up those carts. It's all for you, buddy. It's all for you.
Yeah.
So then, family business, working in a supermarket, and then you went 2004. I want to know where the Victoria's Secrets happened. And
Oh yeah. So
Hot
I will
Date
say
for
that the key learnings from the family business was one, how not to do business from a customer service standpoint. Back then, I mean, that business was making some cash. Like I was making a couple $100,000 a year as a 22-year-old college dropout or kicked out. I would wish I got dropped. I got kicked out. But also
at least
the
you only
first
got kicked out once. I got kicked out 3 times.
well, because you went back 3 times. Like that's your own fault.
I did go back. They're like, well, you're out, but we'll let you back in.
Yeah. So, I mean, once they kicked me out, I was like, God bless you. Peace out. I'm going to go do this. So, but the first official sandwich I ever sold, like what made me a professional sandwich maker, was while I was at the supermarket, I would, there was a meat market there, and I'd go and grab some like exotic meat. I recall I was making an ostrich cheesesteak. And I was frying it up.
With that
yeah,
sounds delicious.
exactly.
Is that on the Ike's menu right
no,
now?
it's not. It should be.
Come on.
I don't know where to find some like good ostrich like that. We don't have to have a whole bunch of people prepping in the stores, right?
Have an ostrich
But
day.
there you go. I'm down.
Oh.
So I was making this ostrich cheesesteak in the back, like on my break, even though it was my business. So I was kind of like not on break, and it made the store smell so good. Somebody walked in, was buying some food, some drinks, and beverages, and they were like, "Hey, what is that you're making?" I'm making an ostrich cheesesteak. And the person was like, I'll give you $10 for it. And I did the math in my head. Oh, it cost me like $2.50. Yeah, okay, I'll sell you this cheesesteak for $10, and then I'll just go back to the meat market and buy some more meat and then make myself one. So kind of that one person, God bless that person, put in my mind that I could sell food for more money than I paid for it.
Yeah.
And so my food cost was like 25% on that. Now, in hindsight, I should have charged more than $10 for an ostrich steak.
Minimum.
But at the time, I was like, $10? Yeah, sure. So I started doing that, and I just make lunch, and people would come in and be like, "Oh, what are you making?" So then I just started making extra, and then I came up with the sauces. Slowly but surely, though, I was like, "Man, this is a lot of work," as you know. So I stopped doing that. I stopped making sandwiches. I stopped having a line out the door because I was like, this is a lot of work for not that much money. Making like $250 in sales and then minus. I was like, it's too much work. The business, the supermarket, I just stand behind the register and ring people up and and shoot the shit, right? Or I could work my ass off slicing meat and cheese and doing all that. Though I did come up with the dirty sauce, which is our secret sauce, from there. And I did realize that I could make food and have the capacity to do it. And I did like it. I just didn't like the amount of money I was making from there. So flash forward way later, 2007, so that's 2001 to 2004 I was doing that. It allowed me to just go into Ike's. But we wanted to know about Victoria's Secret.
Yeah,
So
I know. We keep skipping Victoria's Secret and the Hot Date for Hire.
Hot Date for Hire. So Hot Date for Hire was before Victoria's Secret.
Come on.
So
give me
this
all the
was
dirty
this
Hot
was
Date
in the
for Hire
beginning of
secrets.
like the internet age, where when you were in a chat
How
room
old
and it
are
was
you?
creepy.
105? Like, hasn't the internet been around for 9,000 years?
I meant like before people were.
Before
like-
it's like how it is now, which
Yeah.
is like it's like
If you don't have it.
boop.
So it's like when you're like, hey, do you want to meet? And you're in a chat room or whatever, to be like, are you going to murder me? No, and where people wouldn't meet, because if I told you I was going to meet some chick online or something, you'd be like, don't do it.
Right.
And the other way around, her friends would be like, oh, you can't meet that freaking guy. What, he says he owns a freaking grocery store? Are you sure you're not going to get
Now
put into a sandwich, right?
Now everyone's swiping
Now
right
everybody's,
and swiping left
Tinder
and swiping
and
circles
Bumble and
swiping
all that.
things,
Yeah,
and there's
right.
all kinds of other ways, and you have to meet that way.
So I realized that back then there was a need for people to make their exes jealous. So I started Hot Date 4. It was the number 4 hire.com. And if you needed a strapping young guy like me, or a woman, I had my family, or my sister, my girlfriend at the time,
Putting
me.
everyone to work. I
Yeah, I
love
was
this.
like, hey, we're going to charge X amount. Like, it was ahead of its time. I feel like, well, now if it was a business, everybody would just be like accusing you, oh, that's just a Hot Date for Hire chick, or that's just a Hot Date for Hire bro, right? Not a real date. So maybe it's a good thing that it wasn't real, because it would just be defunct right away. But back then, I would get people to pay for a date for 2 hours. Go there, walk, hold hands by their whatever significant other's work, or ex's work, or they needed a date to a company party or to prom or something. I mean, I was way younger, I was like 19 and 18 and stuff
This
like
is
this
fascinating.
when this was going on. So like I've been to too many proms, I've been to too many
I'm
homecomings.
fast. How much did you charge for a 2-hour date?
For a 2-hour date, $75 plus whatever. If you wanted a corsage, you're paying for that. You wanted flowers. I'm in like prom photos where I'm like carrying the person, and like,
And they pay extra for that.
the photo's free. But if you wanted me to give you a corsage, that's whatever. I don't know how much those cost.
I'm fast.
Yeah, it sounds like
This is
18.
Fascinating.
I was in high school, just going on tons of, like, I've been like non-proms and 9 homecomings and stuff like that. And then after, when I was out of high school, then I started doing like, oh yeah, I'll eat dinner at your boyfriend's restaurant, or with the restaurant he works at, and make it look like I'm in love with you and things like that.
This is incredible.
Yeah,
This is
that
definitely a
was
Punko podcast
probably
first,
my
huh?
least favorite job ever, because there were a lot of like, I'm really good at being like, I'm into you.
I am really good at faking the fun.
However, because I was being paid to do that,
Sure.
though, now looking back upon that,
This seems like it's the beginning of the influencer age, and nobody knew it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't. What was it? What that I didn't like about it? I wouldn't say that there was
anyone
anything
try to fight you, or
I would have. I mean, I don't really think it's appropriate to tell, but I definitely have had people come up to me afterwards, come up to me like, "Dude, I saw you with so and so." I'm like, "Who are you talking about?" They're like literally, I wouldn't remember
Right.
somebody that I went out with like 2 years ago, because it was just a business thing, and I'd get in almost fist fights over it because somebody didn't like the fact that I did that. So I stopped being the guy that I don't want to say pimp out, but I'd stop being the guy, and I started getting my friends to do it instead, and took a commission. So if we're gonna take $75,
the appropriate term is you were no longer your own bottom bitch.
yeah, you were. Man, I feel like you should talk to legal about this. I feel like this is a heavy topic.
It's not. There was no sex involved at all.
Yeah.
So it's 0% prostitution.
Oh, man.
My girlfriend at the time, my sister, like all the dates that happened were 0. Like there wasn't even kissing. So
Just holding hands and making people jealous.
it was, yeah. There's no kissing. I mean, like, I guess unless I wanted to, I suppose. But like there wasn't any. Like, you couldn't slip me like an extra 50 for,
Yeah.
for anything. Yeah.
Man, what a turn this has taken. So what after...
And then Victoria's Secret.
And then Victoria's Secret
Yeah.
happened after that.
Yes.
Wow, what a segue. Odd Day for Hire led to Victoria's
Now, is this
Secret.
going to help me sell sandwiches? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I have
I loved my job at Victoria's Secret, so.
I'm sure. Tell me about your job at Victoria's Secret. How long were you there, and how was that experience?
So I was there for almost 2 years. I did end up getting fired from that for probably being a dude working at Victoria's Secret, but they couldn't legally fire me because of that.
Right.
So they made up some other stuff. I think
Right.
officially a client came in and they spent like $1,500 on things, and we had a free item that you would get if you purchased whatever. And they didn't buy that thing, but I gave them the thing for free anyway because they spent like $1,400 or $1,600 anyway. And the thing was like $30 to buy. If you would get this free thing with this thing if you paid $30. So I technically got fired for that, or not technically. I did get fired because of that, but I assume that meant because they didn't want me around
Sure.
anymore. And no offense, I love you, Victoria's Secret. If it wasn't for you firing me, I'd still be there right now working there,
Right.
probably super creepy and all that stuff. And then I wouldn't be Ike
Super creepy.
from Ike's. So
Victoria's
God
Secret, we
bless 'em.
thank you for all the
they're
Ikes
not a sponsor, but they can be. And now
Again. at dademag.com.
Yes, and every year now, in their honor, I make a little Victoria's Secret
Victoria's Secret.
panty slash what is that, boy
Sandwich.
short, and I make like the actual boy shorts. Like
Okay.
people that follow me already know that because I post them once every year with a new color, and you can win them. I call it Victoria's Secret because it's literally my first paycheck, which I still have. But to actually answer your question, how it was, man, it was not what I thought it was going to
Sure.
be, and
feel
it
like
was
people would
way
be-
crazier.
I feel like people would be mad demanding and very like...
Oh. I was able to relate to people in a way that I guess maybe the back then the normal people that the regular type of employee that they had would, because it was probably mostly all female, not 100%. There were some dudes that worked there besides me. Though I was able to come in and the woman would come in and say, "Oh, I need a bra that does whatever." And so me wanting to be great at customer service, and I never wore a bra in my life, still to this day, as much as they asked me to.
I know.
In the fitting
Did you
rooms,
try
I'm like,
this
I'm
on?
not going
I
to put
know.
this on.
This is weird.
But I just started asking like my sisters and my girlfriends and like, hey, you wear this bra, why do you wear this bra? And so if somebody came in and said, oh, I need a bra to run, I'm going to go running in it. Well, my friend Liz, she ran a lot and she wore this one bra. And I was like, why'd you wear that bra? And she said, oh, well, it supports me, etc. So I was able to just say, hey, my friend Liz wears this bra and she runs a lot. And so I sold a lot of bras. Plus, I think also because I was a dude, I can be like, that's hot. You should wear that, etc. I don't think there was that many complaints like sexual harassment complaints. It was more like I had a journal every day, like from the first day I worked there. And I'm gonna say this one is super inappropriate, but for them to me, not me to them. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna get fired for sexual harassment, so I'm gonna track everything. Like I was the one, like the day one I had my journal, and I'm gonna write everything.
Wow.
Because I want to make sure that I didn't get fired for sexual
For
harassment.
2 years, that's a lot of
Yeah,
time.
and I did not get fired for sexual harassment.
For giving away a $30 bra.
And so the first day I was there, and I'm like, okay, don't get fired first. Don't look at her boobs. Don't do this. All these things. Like I'm just like tunnel vision. I will ring you up. Yes, thank you. Have a nice day. And then we close the store. The store closes, and the manager gets on. We have these little headsets so we can communicate. Like, oh, I'm going to send somebody to this room. They're looking for whatever, a push-up bra. The manager, freaking the store manager, goes, hey guys, we need to close real early because I'm getting laid tonight. And everybody there is a woman other than I am. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get fired for sexual harassment if, like, the manager is saying it over the loudspeaker. So I wrote that into
You put
my
that
little
in the
journal. And every time, like, I got sexually harassed at least 3 times a day. Of course, I didn't report it because, to me, it wasn't harassment.
Yeah,
I liked
cool.
it,
Yeah, it's
low-key.
great.
However, I just want to make sure that if somebody tried to say something, be like, nope, she put gum in my mouth, and she said that, oh, is that all I want her to put in my mouth? I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
God.
But I wrote it down.
Hot times at Victoria's
Yeah.
Secret. in
And people are like,
California.
hey, you want to come help me show me where the fitting room is? I'm like, okay. You going to help me put these on? Nope, but I'm going to write it down in my book that you asked me to, so.
And so then from Victoria's Secret, you went to Ike's.
Not straight. Not straight.
That's where I
not
developed my
straight in,
dirty
yeah.
sauce.
So there you go. I was like, you know what? I can't sell panties anymore. I'm gonna go sell some sandwiches. No, it was more. So I ended up getting let go at that place, and I also at the same time I worked at this women's ready-to-wear fashion line called BB. Pretty sure they still exist, but as an online retailer. But I had a lot of fun there. B-E-B-E, all lowercase. Yeah. And so I had a lot of fun there, and so kind of
This whole time
it was
I
more
thought
like,
it was baby.
yeah, baby, hey, baby. No, I'm pretty sure it's BB. And so
Such a Hispanic.
I
Baby.
would have people and that place was worked on commission. So I'd sell them the bra and the panties, and then sell them the clothes to put on over it. So it's kind of like a full service shop on women's fashion.
And then you provided the dates.
Yeah,
then
you
you
know,
provided
no,
the
that was
dates.
before.
And
I
then you
wasn't
provided
no
the
longer,
food for the
no,
dates.
the date thing was a little too yeah, it just didn't work out. So no dates anymore. It wasn't cool. But the Victoria's Secret part and then the BB part, and then I started selling real estate. But in 2005, 2006, right when, like, I sold a home really quick, like right when I got my license, and then after that, every single deal kind of, the banks wouldn't lend, etc. So, which actually kind of led me to wanting to open up Ike's. So I started working at my buddy at the time, my roommate at the time. His dad was opening up a restaurant in Palo Alto, and I figured, well, I'm going to open up a restaurant, and I've never worked in a restaurant. I should go work. So, and then I also worked at Trader Joe's, all in between, like Ike's, because I needed to pay my bills, and I quit all my jobs, the ones that I didn't get fired from, because I knew that I was using them as a crutch, and I wasn't going to actually open up Ike's until I needed to. Yeah, right. Exactly. So I did that.
Woo! What a journey
What a
to
ride.
Ike's, man.
And here we are.
And here we
Hopefully
are.
you don't air all that inappropriate stuff that I said if it was inappropriate.
Things don't get cut here.
I mean, you can ask all former guests. Things don't get cut here.
Well, it's all good.
Yeah, you're on Instagram Live.
You know, yeah, I know. I'm living it right now. I'm just, I don't care, but other humans
legal, man.
care.
Yeah. So now Ike's opens. We already kind of talked about the first 3 years of Ike's. You had 3 locations the first 3 years,
yeah.
Right? How did you get to 82? I mean, that's a big jump, 3 to 82. I mean, we have to talk about 79 stores. How did that happen in between? You know, like what years? I mean, you've been so it's been what, 14 years, right?
Let's see. Yeah, 14. We opened in 2007, so a little over 13 years.
Yeah, 13.
And let's see. So by year 2010, there was 3 Ikes. By 2012, on January 1st, 2012, there was 4 Ikes. By January 1st, 2013, there was 13 Ikes. So we opened up 8 locations, 9 locations.
9
within 1 year, and that was the biggest. I don't know what to call it. That was the biggest leap, but also it was one of the things. Is like I was totally that guy that I need to be there and I need to run everything and I need to make sure I touch every sandwich and everything needs to be 100% the right way. And then, but like for those that are listening that are in the restaurant business and or any business, is for sure if there was 2 of you, there's 2 of me, and I walked in on myself at Ike's, or you walked in on yourself, you would judge the hell out of yourself. You would say you're slacking here and you're cutting corners there, and because realistically, none of us are ever 100% efficient 100% of the time. Ever. None of us. No matter how big of a perfectionist I am, you're gonna judge. You would judge yourself if you were your own employee. You would judge yourself.
I judge myself every day.
Yes, exactly. So I started thinking, well, if I would talk shit to myself, then I gotta ease up on everyone else. And I started thinking, well, they can't mess up the recipes. The food's good, and as long as we don't give a vegan sandwich with meat on it, we can't really mess up. So I was like, all right, I don't want to limit myself, so let's just open all these stores that we had. And then I was like, whoa, we opened too many stores. But that was basically the biggest hurdle from the opening store standpoint, was to get over the fact that it ain't going to be perfect. No matter what. I can't be there 100% of the time anyway. And even if I was, it wouldn't be perfect. Like, I've forgotten avocado on somebody's sandwich. I accidentally misplaced the tag, and then the sandwich comes out 45 minutes or an hour later, and had to, be super, whatever, nice to them and
Apologetic.
apologetic. That's the word I'm looking for. So if I'm going to mess up, then of course someone else is going to mess up too. And then here we are. It's like, hey, just don't give a vegetarian a meat sandwich. You're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, that's like sacrilege. The vegetarian can't have any meat.
And unfortunately, we have.
Huh?
And unfortunately, we have given a vegetarian meat sandwich, right?
I mean, because no one's
So,
perfect. This shit
yeah.
happens. You know, and it's tough, especially with us that, you know, like stocks, you know, it's just broth. There's veggie stocks. There's meat stocks.
Yeah.
There's like, you know, so I've seen all those things, and it's tough. It's really hard to like accept the fact that we fucked that up and like, okay, now we have to address the issue, but it's part of life and it does happen.
Yeah.
So then you said year 4, you opened 10 more locations, right?
Yeah, so
you were
we're
at 13?
by 2013. So what would that have been, like approximately 5 years and a
5
few
years.
months in? We were at 13 locations, 12 or 13 locations, right around there. And then we stood back. I think that year we only ended up opening 1 location, kind of wheeled it back in, and then boom, we went from 13 to like 20 something. We're like, we already opened up 8. We should be able to open up 15 or whatever. And then like 2 years ago, we opened up 20 something locations. This year, we're going to open up 20 something locations. Like
This
the goal,
year?
2021. So in 2019, we opened up 20 locations. During COVID, we only opened up 3 locations, but then we had 3 that are still closed because they're in malls and things like that. So we had a net of 0. And then 2021, we're planning on 21 locations. We've got 1. I don't know how many we opened already so far, like 3 or 4.
Right.
So the goal would be over 100 locations by the end of this year.
So where are the other ones going?
The other new ones?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to name all
Yeah,
of them.
a
19 is
lot in Southern California. We're doing a big push there. New Orleans, Houston, hopefully another one here. Where else are we opening in?
Where are you looking at
Vegas, Utah. Where are we looking? I'm not... It's more like the landlord's got to come in and flirt with me, you know?
I totally understand.
Yeah. I mean,
they gotta come to you.
you know how it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, you
So-
know, when you engage them, they already have the upper hand. When they engage you, you have the upper hand.
I feel like I'm the hot date for hire, and if you want me in your restaurant, you want me in your location.
100, like, I just, the landlord needs you to equate the worth of their property. And as long as you have a viable long-term business, it shows that that location is good.
Yeah.
You know, so for them, it shows how much that property is worth. So even if they go to turn it out and sell it in 5-10 years,
Yeah, and plus, like a business like yours, like this place is phenomenal. The property is worth more because you specifically are there.
this restaurant, these 2 restaurants, have been in the previous 10 years, I think 6 locations each,
Yeah.
and we've been open for 5. So I think this is the longest. I think it would make sense that Ariete is the longest thing that's ever been on this property, and our lease is very good. So, and the same thing with the one next door. I mean, you know, we bring value to the property. I mean, restaurants, and the more restaurant people, whether you are a chef, restaurateur, business person, understand that you bring value to the property. If you're not going to buy the property, you need them to understand that you bring the value to the property.
Yeah.
Because if it's just turning hands every single 6 months, then people would think that maybe the business there isn't good, or maybe whatever. You know, they need to find a good operator. They need to find people that are good at their job, and they need to find something that's cool.
Yeah, and have a tenant that's paying rent.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also the rent part is like when they engage you, you can negotiate better on all angles. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the whole shtick. If they negotiate you, they're trying to take you out on a date.
Right.
You know? So
Hashtag international sex symbol. Somebody's commenting on all the... Yeah, I do have way more women followers than men followers.
Do you?
Yeah,
Good for
according to
you.
It's like 72% women, so thank you.
we actually just
I
did
do
that
need more
study
men
with
followers, though. I love you guys.
our former Pancom podcast guest, Gio Fesser, which happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday.
Happy
And he
birthday.
has 83% female following on Pastelito Papi because he is the Papi of all Pastelitos.
I wonder how
Oh.
many of those are follow backs.
I only follow 99 people on Instagram, and following you on Instagram is fifth base to me. So.
Oh, is it fifth base?
Fifth base.
Man, you're going all the way down to the dugout. That's a lot.
It's like you got to do your home run trot. Like if you want me to follow you, I know y'all follow me, and I appreciate you, and I love you. Though if I go on there, I follow 99 people. I can't even see my friends' posts.
Yeah.
Like the Ike's feed, they follow like 700 people, and when I go log in there, there's like people I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't
it's a
remember
lot.
how I know. So
It's a lot. Yeah, I like all of our locations to only follow 305 people.
305.
Yeah.
Is that like a number to you, or is that the address
That's
here?
our
or something?
area code.
Okay, 305.
Yeah.
Got it.
And but Ariete only follows like 22. It's just a
22.
lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot to like keep up with and care about. It's just too much for me. So
Sorry, babe, I don't follow you. I know
This is so good.
you message me often. I freaking love you still.
Oh man, who is this babe that you don't follow? I mean,
I just called her babe. It's probably inappropriate in 2021.
No,
she
careful,
she
it's
slides
legal.
she slides into my DMs.
does she
and-
slide into the
and
DMs?
Not in
Do
an
you-
inappropriate
do you get
way.
a lot of people trying to
In
get
a
your sandwich?
Appropriate
Hey,
way.
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, my followers know that I post my inappropriate DMs.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Oh, that's
I
so good.
block them out though, so nobody actually sees who sent it.
Oh man, that's
Though I
good.
get
It's a good follow.
yeah. Though,
For all of our listeners, my recommendation today is going to be follow Ike.
yeah,
Just
at
so you-
Ike Shehadeh, IKESHEHADEH.
So 2021, 20 locations. You're trying to open up another one in Miami, and you have Utah. I like Utah. I just went to Utah. What part
Yeah.
of Utah?
We're doing, let's see, St. George. We're doing Lehigh, hopefully Park City, Salt
Yeah.
Lake City,
I was just in Park City. It's
Sandy. Like we're gonna do like 10 or 12 in Utah.
so heavy West Coast. Heavy West Coast.
Well, we're seeing that the brand recognition as we're moving west to east, or from west to east, is better. Like instead of just plopping up, like we plopped up in Austin, and it took us a while to generate goodwill. Same thing in Phoenix. We've been there for 7 years, I think, and now like pretty recently, if I'm walking down the street, people recognize me and like ask for photos and things like that. Where in San Francisco, that happens like every single day. So it took us a while, and here we are, and not too many people know even what Ike's is. So I prefer to do it that way. Although, I mean, we're gonna open up in New Orleans, and we have no brand recognition there.
Yeah. I love New Orleans, by the way. We're going to have a lot of fun in New Orleans. So how's it been opening in Aventura?
It's been, well, one, I like the area that we're in.
Yeah.
It's been fun, like coming out here and being a part of the community here. And I also noticed that, I mean, we opened during COVID, so I don't even know what the full potentiality of things are.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, when Miami, and Miami's pretty open, and but when it reaches its full tilt, it's very good.
And as I said earlier, I do come here once a month, so I enjoy being around here, which means then hopefully the brand will end up expanding more and more. Because when I'm here, like I get to do stuff like this, but also I can learn the community more, and then also like learn where to put the next one, and the one after that.
Right.
And we want to do 40 in the state.
Yeah.
I don't know how many in South Florida, but
I mean, South Florida, very dense South Florida wise. Just with people. Then when you get to Middle Florida and Northern Florida, it's different, but because you have a pretty good already understanding of like college crowds. If you were to go up north and you were to hit those college campuses, it would be nice, because they're big on that. The ones that are like those college towns, they're like hardcore college towns. They all eat in the college town. It's like a big thing. So that could be interesting. Man. So how much time have you actually spent in Miami? Like I know you said you
Total?
come like once a month, but
I'd say each trip's about 2 to 5 days.
yeah.
So probably all time, a month's worth of time. Yeah.
What have you done here that you enjoy?
Eat.
All right.
Love to eat. Favorite spots? I haven't had the chance to repeat a location yet, so I don't know what would be my favorite. Although,
sense.
like I said, I will definitely be bringing people here.
Cool.
I had the bone marrow oyster. Man,
yeah.
I'll eat 24 of those, no problem. But I haven't had like a repeat visit anywhere but Ike's so far, being out here.
Where have you gone that you enjoyed though, from your times that
Let's
you were
see,
here?
I love, what's the one with the mermaid in the front?
Oh, I feel like I know this.
Oh, hold on. I got it in my phone. Oh, I love Michael Mina's new place. out there.
Oh,
Uh,
the fish one.
Ornos. Yeah, Ornos. I love that place. Let's see.
Yeah, Ornos. I went a couple months ago. It was really good.
And then I got a photo of it. Melinda's.
Oh, in Wynwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, cocktail bar. It used to be the Electric Pickle, which was
I really like that spot. Yeah.
Yeah, the Electric Pickle was like a legendary bar spot in Miami for a long time, and then it changed over to Melinda's. It has food, right? I haven't been since it changed to Melinda's.
I had some oysters there last time. I like that place, and it's great ambiance.
Cool.
It's not a I would probably go back there next time.
There's a lot of stuff in that area.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of stuff.
So those are my two favorite non-Ikes. Oh, no, I ate here, so I'll call it this place, too. So those are my three favorite spots in this town.
Ornos is really good. I mean, I never went to what it was previously because they had it before and then they changed it over to something else. But this new version, I went because we actually have some former company employees that work there now, and it's really, really good. The location is like very nice.
I like it. Yeah,
very nice.
And it's like across the street from Ike's, essentially.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like a 10-minute walk from Ike's. Yeah.
Oh, so not far at all.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, just because I'm sure that you've put in the kind of research because of the model that a lot of our other guests have not, because a lot of the other people that we've had on have either been people who aren't looking to open as many stores or even have as many stores as you have now, or they're very South Florida focused, right? Like Mike, for example, just to use an example, like your head is in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, South Florida for sure.
Right.
I mean, Miami specific, definitely.
Right. So in the course of just looking into South Florida, what are some things that you learned about it and how it compares to other markets for a business like yours? Because I'm thinking, for example, like, isn't Hialeah, like, nationally one of the highest concentrations, for example, of quick service restaurants?
It is, and that's where a lot of people actually test out their fast food concepts.
Right.
Is Hialeah.
Okay.
So I wonder, like, in the research that you've done, what have you learned about Miami that maybe Miami doesn't even know about itself? Because, it's not like most people give this sort of thing much thought, but you're, I imagine, sort of surveying the landscape. What is it about Miami that you see, like, this is what I would say is different about this place?
Well, I'll say, I don't know if it's different, though. There are many towns where people that are food towns that people are willing to go all the way across town. LA is not one of those towns because of traffic.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. Whereas, like, say in San Francisco, people will drive an hour and a half for a Michelin restaurant every day, right? That happens all the time. And what I'm noticing here is we want to. It's like a split. There are some people, or there's a subset of people that are willing to do that for food, and there's a subset of people that aren't. And usually a town's either like 95% they will or 95% they won't. Not like, oh, it's a little mix. So I've noticed that, and there's also a big tourist town too. So if we can get, with what we've learned with tourist towns, is if you can make it so that people are talking about you, that those people specifically, the tourists specifically, will come and find you if you're, say, within 25 minutes of wherever they're staying. And then there's also going to be the people, say, in Aventura, that will, if we were just 15 minutes down the road, they wouldn't have gone. So we're really looking, I guess the thing is there's very few cities that are like that, where it's, a mix of both.
Right.
It's usually one or the other.
Right.
Yeah. And so this is a town that will do that. So, which will allow us to open up more locations, maybe a little bit quicker than the other way.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're like a little bit over the hour mark. I don't know if we want to kind of get into the wind down, or if there's other stuff that either of you, like, we haven't gotten into.
I got a story.
Oh, you got stories.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a story.
Tell the story.
About,
By the way, I really like, and maybe this will inspire you somehow. Feel free to say whatever the hell you want. There doesn't have to be any kind of continuity or a great segue
cool.
here.
Oh, yeah, a lot of things. This is when it starts
It's
to go
like-
off the rails. So
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, talking about places that have a lot of stores. So this was like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and I was like exhausted. and tired, and I went home like relatively early, so like maybe 10-ish, 10:30 or whatever. And so I wanted to like just decompress, and I smoked a really like a good amount of weed, and I was like, I wanna order food, and I was like, I'm gonna order a Domino's pizza.
Oh, damn.
Right.
Okay.
So I ordered a Domino's pizza. I'm a big fan of Domino's.
I'm Pizza Hut over Domino's, but
Are you? That's totally fine. Listen.
I've definitely Domino'sed it up for
Listen,
sure. Ask
I mean,
the Victoria's Secret days.
For fast food, people, I don't judge anyone on their likes or dislikes.
Yeah.
So I ordered my regular order from Domino's, which is a side salad and then a Hawaiian pizza.
Okay.
It's always my move.
Classic.
Thin crust, always, and it always gets to my house.
Salad, huh?
Always, you gotta lighten it up.
You gotta, you know.
You gotta lighten it up.
You gotta
somehow,
roughage
right?
it out, right?
Yeah, you gotta a little bit of roughage to clean yourself out. And and it always gets there within 25 minutes. And honestly, I have Domino's from everywhere, and this store always makes the best pizza. And it's like I feel very fortunate that it's 5 minutes away from my apartment. So, anyways, I order and I start watching. The
Scary
new show,
Movie 2, no.
the new show, Winter Soldier, whatever.
Oh, the
Falcon,
with the
right?
Falcon, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a show.
Okay.
It's a show, so it's got several parts. So I watched the first and the second part, and then I had realized through my stonedness that my pizza had yet to arrive.
Oh.
So I checked
Bummer.
my handy Domino's tracker.
Great idea.
The Domino's app?
Right? Yeah, on the Domino's app, because I do have the app on my phone.
Hell yeah.
They used to have like a little cartoon guy with a pizza paddle. I miss him.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I noticed that I'm going to call him a Yorley. Yorley had prepped and baked my pizza, and then at this time he had started to deliver my pizza, but it had been an hour.
Did he eat your pizza?
Yeah. Did he eat my pizza? That was my first thought. So I'm stoned still, and I'm just like, I really just want this fucking pizza, man. So I had a cookie prepared for after the pizza, so I'm just looking at this cookie like, should I eat the cookie? Like, no, it's bad. So, so then I randomly walk into the middle of the street. Like, where the fuck is my pizza? So I check the tracker.
Were you walking in the street?
Yeah, I walked to the middle of the street.
Screaming, "Where's the pizza?"
No, wasn't screaming. I was just like looking around like, where the fuck is my pizza? And then, so I look at the app, and then the app says, your order has been completed.
Oh, no.
And I said, wait a second.
That's the worst.
My pizza is not here. So my order is not complete. So then I send Domino's a text like, hey, guys, there's a problem. Order's complete, but there's no pizza on premise. 0 pizza. And at that point, they say, we're very sorry for your pizza not on premise. Here's 60 Domino's points. And I wanted to tell them, you could take your Domino's points and shove them up your fucking ass because I really want a fucking pizza. So at that point, I got frustrated. I walked to Taco Bell.
Oh, all right.
I ordered a Crunchwrap. It's like literally across the street from my house. So I ordered a Crunchwrap and a soft taco, right? And I was like, fuck it. This is going to be the plan. This is the move. I'm good with Crunchwraps. That's also my favorite.
I do enjoy Crunchwraps, yeah.
I mean, when they do the Crunchwrap well, it is engineering genius, and I still thank whoever.
R.I.P. Mexican pizza.
Yeah. Oh, the Mexican pizza was good, right? So then I go and I set it up. I take another hit from my bowl, and I'm just sitting, and I'm like, relaxed, and then, I'm watching. Then I have already moved on to the next show, so I went into NCIS because I do enjoy a good season 15.
Which one? Miami or what?
No, the regular NCIS.
Okay.
Yeah, season 15 of NCIS, and then I start to eat this. I eat the soft taco. I drink some of the pink lemonade. All of a sudden, my phone rings. Too late for my phone to ring. People know that work for me. Unless it's barring a fucking disaster, do not call me after 11 and do not call me before 11 because I'm usually doing things that don't involve me wanting to talk to people from work.
Yes.
So my phone rings and it's a random number and I'm like, whatever this is, I don't want to talk to them. They call me again. And I'm just like, there's a problem. So all of a sudden there's a knock on my door. Right? So the door knocks and I walk outside and it's a Domino's kid. Kid couldn't be more than 18 years old. Sweaty, overweight. And he's just like, here's your order. I said, man, what's going on? It's been an hour and a half. The order was complete 30 minutes ago. And I wanted to be mad at this kid. But this kid looked so beaten by what had just happened to him, right? So I asked him, I said, Yorley, tell me what's happening. Talk to me. Talk to me about what's going on. So then he tells me, he said, listen, man, let me level with you. We're understaffed. I didn't know what to do. It's just us two guys on bikes, and then his homie, it's just him and his homie on a bike, a Domino's bike, and they're sweating like hard. It's like they had just been in the Tour de France. Like, it was just like hard sweat, shirt sweaty, pizza sweaty, and I'm like, what's happening? And he's like, we're understaffed. I don't know. I said, listen, are you the manager? He goes, no. I go, so you prepped my pie, you baked my pie, then you put the pie on a bike, you and your buddy over there, then delivered like 20 some odd pies in the last like hour. He goes, yeah. I go, your manager has done you a disservice, sir. And I feel very sorry for you. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to take the pie. I'm going to continue to give you the 30% tip that I gave you, and I'm sorry. But I'm going to address this with Domino's, and Domino's, if you are listening, I want you to know that on 27th, in between US 1 and Coral Way, your managers are doing a disservice to those young kids because they are working very hard for you, and you are not doing the same for them. That's all I got.
I'm happy you got your pizza, though.
I did get my pizza. But I had already eaten the Crunch Wrap, and I was already dedicated to Taco Bell. You can't go from Taco Bell to pizza. At that point, it was a mess.
Can you? Mexican pizza back in the fold.
Yeah, I know, but that's a different Mexican pizza. It's a different experience.
Just sprinkle that shit on the
Mexican
pizza.
and pizza, yeah.
At that point, I had destroyed the Crunchwrap Supreme. I had dedicated to my pink lemonade.
Did you eat the cookie?
Of course I ate the cookie.
Okay, just checking.
Of course I ate the cookie. The cookie was very good. That'll be part of my parting recommendations. The cookie.
Very good.
Yeah.
Is there any ground that we didn't cover, Ike?
Well, personally, I don't order food for delivery for those reasons. I'd rather just make my own.
Oh, let me ask you. All 82 of your locations, are they on Uber Eats?
Yeah, we like launched with Uber Eats back in the day.
What do they charge you?
Too much. They charge too much, and at the end of the day, with those, like, I can't believe that they charge. I mean, I don't know if you have any restaurants on there.
We don't do any.
No. And so
they're the evil empire.
The huge disconnect with them is they're saying that they're not making any money. They're charging the customer extra. Yep. They're charging us, and they're losing money. Like, what are they going to pull a bait and switch like in the future when all of them get like cannibalized, and now it's $25 to get like one sandwich delivered?
Well,
because if they can't make money now, like, how are they going to do that?
Forget about them, because I honestly can give three fucks about them. My thing is about us.
Right.
Okay, I care about us, the restaurant, right? The way I look at it is, and this is what people tell me when they're on the other side of the coin, and they're like, well, revenue is great through them. I say, okay. Yeah. So your revenue that you're taking, let's say you take 65 cents or 70 cents on the dollar of whatever they're charging you. And then at the same time, your production needs to go up. So your food purchasing needs to go up. Your labor needs to go up. And then your on-site guest experience goes down.
Yep.
So how, in that model, how does that really benefit us? At the end of the day, it only benefits them. You know, like, I look at it and I understand, like...
And it's not benefiting them. That's the problem, though.
Right. Well,
they're not making money.
Who knows? I mean, I would really like to understand more about why they lose money. Maybe they should learn how to run a business better. I have no idea. But at the same time, like, I look at it, every concept is different, right? Conceptually, I think if you're telling me you're running a sandwich place and you're part of Uber Eats, like, sure. But then I wonder, like, do you charge 30% more because they're taking 30% of your sales? You do. And then guest perception can change at that point. Because then someone that's never been to Ike's can say, fuck, man, their sandwich should be $10, but it's $13.
Right.
Right? So the guest perception can change. And then maybe they don't want to actually go to Ike's when they see an Ike's. So there's so many angles of it that I think I would like to tell them to go fuck themselves, and I essentially do, but that's why I have such a problem with them. And it's like, I understand conceptually delivery, like, I made a conscious decision to go to Domino's because Domino's does their own delivery. Yep. That's why, like, I actually, like, I was like, let me open up this app, right? This is a whole other fucking ball of wax, but I opened up the app of the Uber Eats app, right? I said, let me see what these losers are offering, right? So the losers are offering all the same shit that I could walk to, because I could walk to Taco Bell, which is right across the street. I can go to Denny's, and I can pick up the food. And then all these other plethora of things that, to me, when I looked at them, these are all ghost kitchens. Almost every single one. Not one of them was an actual kitchen. Not one of them was an actual restaurant. So am I going to further double down on the destruction of restaurants through the ghost kitchen and Uber Eats? No. I just went to fucking Domino's. And people could tell me, they could talk shit to me because I eat Domino's and pizza, whatever. But they deliver their own fucking shit. You know, they're not looking at Uber Eats to do it for them. And at the same time, they're not adopting the destructive nature of what a ghost kitchen is and their entire, like, thing. So, I mean, because you can look at the app and be like, Billy's Wings and Fries. Like, you know that's not a real fucking place. You know, like, fucking Tata's Arepas. Like, listen, man. Like, I know the places to get arepas in Miami, and, like, none of them are called Tatas.
Right.
And then also you can go and it's like, where's this located? You look at it, it's like in the middle of like a fucking warehouse district. Like, listen, motherfucker, I know you're not fooling me, but at the same time, a lot of people don't do the kind of research that we do. So this is, at the end of the day, what went into my decision to order Domino's pizza with, and I will continue to order with because they've only. No, Yorley. Let's edit his name out. I'm sorry.
Oh, was that really his name?
That was really his name.
Well, yeah, we'll cut it out.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
I thought you were getting way more creative than that.
No, that was actually his name. He's such a nice kid, and I felt so bad for him. I was like, I want you to keep the 30% tip. I'm sorry I was mad. I feel bad for you. Come work for me. That's basically what I told him.
I mean, I feel like we should bleep all of them out because it's not much of a. I thought his name.
You think it was different?
I thought his name was like Tony or something. You're making Yorley to protect his identity.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, that's a totally different name.
I'd like to point out to the audio contingent.
Yes, his name is not that.
That Ike was just blowing kisses at his Instagram live.
Were you blowing kisses? How many?
I was.
This is fantastic.
There's just 3 right now.
Oh yeah.
But they're
the special.
The comment says No, I'm not gonna read it. You can read it though if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ike, man, you are
Hashtag
crushing
international sex symbol. Hashtag.
Yeah.
That is my official
Greco-Roman
hashtag.
wrestler herd. Got
Yes,
it.
yes.
Got it.
If you were selling sandwiches, you'd have the same, I think.
Yeah. Man, it's a lot here.
Yeah, I bet.
So
I wouldn't know.
yeah, I back to that. This is why I make a conscious decision to order from Domino's and not from Uber Eats, and I will continue to do that, and I will continue to order from the places that deliver their own shit.
But personally, in my life, I've ordered less than this many times from Uber or DoorDash or whatever. Because for me, it's like I'd rather eat at the place across the street, even if it's less than what I want, than helping to propagate this the way that it is. Because while we're on it, we're only on it because they promised a whole bunch of stuff in the beginning, and our rate was itty bitty, and then over time they're like,
yeah.
I mean, we're doing significant numbers on there.
So would you ever think, and like, this is something I've thought about, and I don't know if it would actually work. If we could somehow just band together and have a national fuck Uber Eats week, and then just all locations stop using Uber Eats for a week, and what would happen? Like, how could they react to that? And I've seen that because there is power in numbers, right? And the way I look at it is, I don't know your business model. For me, it doesn't change anything for me. So I'm totally talking shit because I'm not going to stop anything because I don't use them. But at the same time, for all the other people, would your I mean, you charge 30% more, but would your labor go down? Would your costs go down? Would it be something that would be, because it's only one thing if I stand on the top of the hill alone and be like, hey, those guys are a bunch of fucking assholes, but no one else is standing with me.
I think
which
everybody
I know
knows
feeling
that.
because
They're
it
just
happens all the time. It just happened. It happens all the time. Those guys, the machine is an asshole, but no one wants to say that the machine is an asshole, and I'm stuck there alone.
What I think, unfortunately, the drawback there is it's not Uber Eats' fault or DoorDash's fault. It's the person that's willing to pay $25 and then tell you that your business, like, I don't care if your business suffers because of it. And yeah, I know it's not you specifically because you don't do it, but the person that's like, oh, I could go to Ike's and get a sandwich for $12 and look at somebody and tip them versus I'm gonna spend double. I remember I ordered something because I was in the middle of nowhere and I was not in the position to be able to drive.
Right.
And so I ordered some food, and I was like, wait, $75? I literally canceled the order. I was like, I'm only ordering 3 sandwiches. Not from Ike's. And I was like,
not from Ike's.
Yeah,
Ike's is not that expensive.
Yeah,
everyone.
$75? I'm like, nah, forget it. I'm just going to eat the chips and salsa that I had in the fridge instead.
Right.
But somebody's paying that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be charging that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, and as we're people have been used to being at home for a year now, it's going to change a lot of. You're going to have to change people's habits. Like, the good thing about places like here is, I said I want to bring like dates here. I want to hang out here and have a good time with my friends here. That you can't do off of Uber Eats and DoorDash. So that's going to be the stuff that will change or not change.
Yeah, like I said, conceptually for every place it's different. For us, part of dining at Ariete or Nave or Chugs or, and Chugs may very well be on one of those loser sites. I have no idea. I haven't really dove deep in my brain on that. But, like, part of dining here and understanding the restaurant is part of dining here. It's part of the thing. Like, you can't box that experience into a paper bag and a box and deliver that. The music, the feel, the vibe, the lighting, the food being hot, a la minute. We make it a point. We cook everything a la minute. Like, we're not going to you're getting a fucking piece of fish 30 minutes later. You're going to be mad about it. Like, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So, I don't know. I'm going to continue to fight that fight because I think they're fucking trash anyways. Yeah. So
there.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And then, that Uber Eats rep that reached out to you whenever you want to come on here and you want to talk about your things, man. I'm more than welcome to talk to you in person and not get edited at all, ever, about the things that we want to talk about.
Right.
Yeah. Nick, we leave it in your hands once again.
Yes.
So we'll start to do our wind down thing.
A new contest idea: win a date with Ike. Okay.
Win a date with Ike. Well, I mean, when Otto was on here, he was, which we just published that episode. He was giving away sandwiches. If you want to do a Pancom podcast, win a date with Ike raffle here.
Oh no, that's what they're saying. I don't.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're not giving away sandwiches or a date. Get out of here.
I mean, if somebody wants to take me out on a date, depends on the restaurant. You take me here, I'll eat with you for sure.
Let me know. They're paying the tab. I know what to do.
It sounds like you might have people there who'll pay the tab.
Yeah.
So we always wrap up the show with shameless plugs, but before shameless plugs, our parting recommendations. So everybody recommends however many things you want, as long as they're not yours. It could be a TV show, a book, a dish.
Recommendations.
Anything at all. You can go first if you'd like, or you can pass it off to Mike and give yourself a little time.
Recommendations. Yeah, I'm going to start making a list of recommendations.
But it can be absolutely anything.
Parting recommendations. So, I guess for parting recommendations, I have 3 things.
Okay.
So it took me like a full 5 days to watch the movie because it was 4 hours and 5 minutes long, but it was good, which was Justice League. And I'm a huge comic book dork from like when I was a kid, and Batman obviously was my thing. Batman and Spawn were actually
Spawn, yes.
Yeah,
I have like 25 issues at number
Me too.
1. Yeah.
Me too. I have one.
Still
I
have
have
them.
1 through 12, I believe.
All right.
And I had this like, oh man, Spawn was the best. Yeah, obviously you've seen the HBO series, like the.
No, I haven't. Spawn?
Oh, man.
No.
It's old, but it's like a graphic cartoon or whatever that they used to have on HBO, and they have it on HBO the whole I think it's only like 3 seasons, but it's all on HBO Max right now. So, anyways, I recommend that if you want to watch it.
There you go.
Justice League was 4 hours and 5 minutes long. Some people said this, especially Danny Surfer, which I love to disagree with Danny Surfer, former Pancom podcast guest. That Justice League was better than Avengers Endgame
and Infinity
War. And I have to agree with him. It was better than both.
Oh.
That doesn't necessarily mean that I think any of the 3 were like great, but I definitely think Justice League was good, worth a watch. I mean, it took me 5 days to watch it because I watched it at the end of the night and I fell asleep on the couch every single time, but that's only out of exhaustion, not because it was tired. Like, it was bad. Ichimi, a restaurant in Coral Gables. There's a chain restaurant, which I won't recommend because they don't pay me to recommend it, in the Gables that I enjoy a certain salad that they have, but they closed at 9, which I thought was weird. So I was walking away and I saw this place, and it's funny, long story short, the restaurant that was there previously, I did a consulting job for that restaurant, and I was there previously before it closed. So I knew like we're all like the whole kitchen set up and everything, and I looked at it, it was like very weird. But the ramen was very good, surprisingly. I was shocked, and because I didn't expect much, and I thought it was delicious. Service was cordial. Nice kids. They seem like all college kids, but like good. The food was good, and I would go back. My last recommendation is to a Instagram baker that delivers locally here in Miami, and I don't usually co-sign a ton of these things, but her pastries are very good. Her Instagram handles I Need More, and need is spelled with a K, and everything I've had from her has been very, very delicious, and her babka, I mean, rum cake, cookies, and I'm like a chocolate chip cookie fiend. I think the chocolate chip cookie is the supreme cookie, and it was they were all very good. So, those are my 3 parting recommendations. Danny Surfer, I shockingly agree with you.
Ooh,
Shockingly. Agree.
Yeah.
You normally don't agree?
Nah, Danny's my buddy. I love him. I just like to bust his balls.
So, Ike, you were prepping some recommendations?
Yeah, I got some stuff.
What do you got?
Well, other than the restaurants I already mentioned out here, other places. So I'm blessed that I get to travel to the United States and eat. I'll say my first recommendation will go to the city of Kiev, Ukraine. I love the food there. I love the people there. I would go back there, and the exchange rate was amazing.
I think we have a couple listeners there.
Yes. So
We might, yeah.
just the city, yes, itself.
Okay.
Something closer in Venice Beach, California, which I'm there often. I'll be there in 2 weeks. I love the Cafe Gratitude folks. They started in San Francisco, and they got locations in Kansas City and LA,
Cool.
a bunch of other places. That's for my vegan friends out there, but also from a business experience standpoint, if their culture was brought into any other kind of business, especially the restaurant business, you'll be successful. So props to them. I also love the Rose Cafe, also in Venice. The pastries, yeah, you got me on that. Like, you're talking about cookies and stuff. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Book wise, really, a book that changed my life is a book called Transurfing in 78 Days. It's by an author named Vadim Zeland, Zeland. He's got 3 books. Actually, probably I'll say Tufti the Priestess, which is also a book by the same author. That book is one of my favorite books of all time. Also on the book recommendation, I love The Values Factor by Dr. John DeMartini. Love that author. See what else I got written down here. I got TV shows. Finished watching Californication pretty recently. I know, like 10 or 12 years late.
Yeah, but that's fine.
I enjoy
Nothing wrong
David
with
Duchovny in that. And
Mike's over here watching NCIS.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
season
watch
15
random
or whatever.
seasons at all time. It's like season.
So-
I've watched it a million times.
I finished watching that, and I enjoyed it. It also takes place in Venice, which is probably why I liked it a little bit. In San Francisco, I love this little spot called Saucy Asian.
Oh, I like
It's
the name.
it is a very, I love sauces, so
Yeah.
it is that. I love that place. Shout out them and Kitchen Story, which is a great brunch place. Go there for brunch. Highly recommend it if you're in San Francisco. The bone marrow butter oyster is here. Like,
I'm with this recommendation.
like,
I love that.
I will
recommend them also.
I'll recommend them since you aren't. I could eat 24 of those. Like, I could have eaten 24 of them tonight. And I think, what else? Hotdateforhire.com. No, it's not. It's not a thing anymore.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, bringing it
2021. 117 restaurants and Hot Date for Hire.
And
Exactly.
You gotta build your empire.
You can, I don't sell dates with me anymore, but we can win one. Maybe we go to a
work it
Dolphins game, watch
Yeah.
Tua, or watch Tampa. I don't know. What we could do
No,
something
watch
for
Tua.
sure.
We don't care about Tampa
No.
here. Yeah. Tom's
T-
one enough. Tom is one
Tom
enough.
Brady does have a sandwich named after him.
Oh, man.
So
What's in the
I
Tom
know.
Brady?
it is says a vegan sandwich, or it can be made vegan, but it's a vegan chicken, a garlic and herb sauce, mushrooms, avocado, cheese. It's like an ultimate vegan vegetarian sandwich.
Sounds like Tom
Yeah.
Brady.
It's got the avocado on there, obviously, since you're drinking avocado tequila and all that. Yeah.
Good stuff. So I'll keep. I'm just in very rare form for me. I only have one recommendation.
Ooh.
Wow.
After we did our interview with Kathy Manning and Tung Nguyen, I finished the book, Mango and Peppercorns. And so even though there was an implicit, I recommend this, based on how we were talking about it in that podcast. I would recommend for anybody who hasn't heard it. Kathy and Tung were pioneering restaurateurs. They had a sort of a historic Vietnamese restaurant here in Miami that served to like really popularize those flavors here. And the book is a memoir that sort of switches between the two of their voices and the voice of Tung's daughter. The story in a nutshell, I don't know whether you had heard of these people before because their restaurant is now closed. But Hai Vong is basically the product of Tung is a refugee at the time of the Vietnam War. Kathy is here in Miami and volunteers her home to resettle refugees. They become close, and neither of them having ever worked in a restaurant before, unless you count Tung's like selling soup in a market in Vietnam, open this restaurant, and it becomes like the thing.
Yeah.
Not just in Vietnamese food, but it was like the hot ticket anywhere in Miami. So that memoir is fascinating. Unfortunately, I've never eaten there. I'd only ever heard stories about it. But I think some of the most interesting stuff was, about, and I wonder whether people were aware of all this when they were eating it, because Vietnamese food wasn't quite a thing in Miami at the time. But there's so much about it that was just not Vietnamese that people can relate to in that sort of like fusion of cultures sense, right? So like they were very well known for their kimchi, which is a very Korean thing, and it turns out that that's because Tung had learned to make kimchi by like reverse engineering it when the South Koreans were dropping kimchi as humanitarian aid during the war on her village. Wow. So she brings that here. All kinds of stories like that. Just like at every turn, there's some interesting thing. So Mango and Peppercorns, go and read that. I'll keep recommending that, and then hopefully, that's not why I'm recommending it, but I'm also Chronicle Books. If you'd like to send us your money, that's ads@dademag.com.
Chronicle Books. If you want to publish our book, we've been working on a book for a total of 10 days.
Working is a generous way to put it.
It is whatever.
Yes.
We've had stuff going on.
No, whatever.
There will be a book.
One day.
Someday soon. And now shameless plugs. Ike, tell everybody where they can find you and the restaurants and all the things you want to plug yourself with here.
Cool. So if you want to follow my adventures, the best way is at Ike Shehadeh. It's IKESHEHADEH. That's on everything. I do Clubhouse talks. You should check those out.
I'm an Android person, so I haven't gotten into Clubhouse.
I got as you see, I got two phones. I got my iPhone just so I could do some talks. So, and that's at Ike Shehadeh on everything. Clubhouse, Snapchat. Follow me on Snapchat. If you don't follow me on Snapchat, you will see that's like this kind of conversation, but worse. So follow at your own risk. That'll be like I'm invited to a party at AVN, and that stuff will end up on there, where it wouldn't end up on my Instagram.
Heard.
Yes. So I would say I'm a more fun follow on that. But as far as Ike's goes, the location here is at 18719 Biscayne Boulevard in Aventura.
I can't wait to go.
Go there, eat there, get that place packing, and then I'll open up another 25 in Florida. That one needs to get popping first. If you want to find out news on the locations, it's loveandsandwiches.com, all one word, loveandsandwiches.com. Or you can just follow Ike's on Instagram. It's Ike's Sandwiches. And we do some giveaways there, too. We did win a date with Ike. Actually, we went to a 49er playoff game 2 years ago.
There you go.
Nice.
The NFC Championship
game.
They
make it back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. We'll see what they do with the quarterback now. Overall,
you're welcome. We just gave you
I know exactly.
Thank you for all the plethora of picks. I appreciate it. And Philip Bennett, I know you're listening. Thank you for the picks, sir. He hated that trade so much.
And they lucked out because they ended up getting Tua dropped to them because of being injured or whatever. Was it last year?
I think Tua's going to be good, man. I'm a Tua guy. I wanted Tua real bad,
and he was there at 5, so that worked out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk football because we're going to go for another 3 hours, but I feel confident in what's happening right now, which has not happened in 20 years.
The coach had him play in this year, so.
Well, yeah, and Chris Greer has been great in the front office. Brian Flores has been great so far, but we've seen this, and then it's just dropped off. I want to we talk. I talk about this on the Twitter all the time with Omar Kelly. Like, I just don't want to believe yet. I'm not a believer yet, and he tells me I need to give it up, but I just can't yet. I can't. I don't know.
Hey, the world shows up how you want it to.
Oh,
so
man,
so,
I know,
So you
I
could be
know.
in how you could be like
Listen,
that
I
too.
know,
Hopefully,
the world
it wins.
gives you what you need when
Yeah.
you need it. What I need is a Dolphins Super Bowl, for fuck's sake. God damn it, I've been alive for 35 years. I just want to see
man,
one.
still, they had that undefeated season though.
Oh, it was like 15 years before I was born, man. Everyone keeps saying that. I was like, I was not even a thought at that time. Oh, man.
I'm blessed. Grew up in the Niners were winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You saw like glory days of not only the Niners, but football. That was like a beautiful time for football, period.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Mike,
Well, this has
shameless
been
plugs?
great.
You got shameless plugs?
All the things.
All the things.
Can we play?
We'll put that
play
thing in there
Noah's
again.
thing
Yeah,
now?
we got an All the Things song.
Now it's perfect.
All the things.
All the things. I still got to recommend all my shit. I mean, we've done this 80
do what
times
you want.
already.
You do what you
It's whatever. Yeah, all the things. All the things.
No, but who knows? Maybe people
How many more plugs
maybe
do we
people
need?
are coming here for the first time. But you know what? Fuck you.
All the things.
All the things. At this point, just all the things. All the things. That was
We
good.
don't even need the song anymore. You're over here
That
singing
was
it.
it. Was
was
actually it made
incredible.
me chuckle at a time I needed a chuckle. It was
There you
good.
go. You can
Shameless
find
plugs.
Pangkong Podcast at Pangkong Podcast on all the social media things. It's a podcast sandwich. DadeMag.com/Pangkong Podcast. If you want to support what we're doing around here, Patreon.com/DadeMag, DADEMAG. You might get a mug. If you're in there, I believe there will be things on social media about like how much time you have left to enter into a drawing for an item from Pincho, as Otto mentioned on the last time we recorded.
And if you can't get to you through social media, just send you a letter.
And just send me a
Yes.
letter. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
with a
happened.
check.
Many thanks to that. I don't want to name the
No,
person
don't name
because
names. It's fine.
but yeah, thanks.
It was made me believe.
Thank you for the
she
check.
knows.
humans
She
again.
knows who she is.
Yeah.
So if you're a Patreon person, I'm going to recommend to Mike. I think this is a good time for like a strictly sandwich lightning round, like a this or that.
Oh. Bam, bam, bam.
Lightning
thanks,
round.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ike.
Ike.
If you're hearing
We're gonna
beyond
do
this
the
point,
Patreon lightning round. Lightning round
Oh,
coming
interesting.
right up for the people that pay for it. Give us all your money, and we're out.